6 games out of the break. Diamondbacks swept the Cardinals, then got swept by the Astros. So do the Diamondbacks buy or sell? I'll make a case for each, and then we'll decide together.
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, my first episode of this podcast, your team every day. I am your reigning, defending, undisputed Diamondbacks heavyweight champion, Michael Ballantyne, and we will go on an approximate 30-minute journey today of education and entertainment that evolves around our Arizona Diamondbacks. I do have another live weekly podcast that I do every Tuesday with my co-host. His name is Cheese. We call ourselves the 643 and Out Guys, and you can look us up on Twitter or on YouTube at the 643 and Out Guys Pod. By listening right now, you are now a certified member of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is completely free on all podcast platforms. You can also be part of the show by joining us on YouTube and leaving your comments and criticisms. Yes, I'll take the criticisms. I have a passion for this game and for this team. And if you're listening right now, whether you're a first time or a long time, I thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen every day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go on with our show. On today's show, our Diamondbacks have a huge decision to make. Do they buy and go for it in hopes of making the playoffs? Or do they sell all their contracts that run out at the end of the year and reload for the future? I'll make a case for both, one in each segment, and then we'll decide together between my analysis, opinion, and your YouTube comments. But first, let's take a look with our title sponsor, Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50%, that's right, 50% off your first year. Eugenio Suarez has been on fire at the plate over the past year plus. Dating back to July 7th of last year, he has 59 home runs, a slash line of 281, 336, 611, and that converts to a weighted runs created plus of 156. Now, for those of you that don't know, 100 is the average on the weighted runs created plus, so that means Gino is 56% above average. In that same span, there are only two players who have hit more home runs, and you may have heard of them, Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Suarez is a rental as his contract expires at the end of the season, and will cost the team that gets him roughly $5 million. They should be able to get major league ready prospects for Suarez as we make this attempt to sell everyone off. But let's keep going here. You have two pitchers as well, Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly. Zach has a great track record with a 60-49 record. He has pitched almost 950 innings and has only a 3.59 ERA with an almost 10K per 9 innings. Kelly, on the other hand, is a little older than Gallen. It's 36-29 comparatively, but they have similar numbers. Kelly has a 62-49 career record with a 3.76 ERA. Kelly's having a better year this year in 2025 with a 9-5 record, 118 Ks in 122 innings, while Gallen is 7-11 with a 5.58 ERA and 116 Ks in 121 innings this year. Both these pitchers should net you a pretty good return on the trade market. But wait, there's more. You also have multiple relievers. You got Jalen Beeks, you got Shelby Miller, and you got Kendall Graveman, and you actually have long reliever Anthony DeSclafani as well. Now, Beeks is cheap. He'll cost the team less than $400,000 for a 4.39 ERA reliever. Miller has a much better ERA at 1.98 and also 10 saves with 40 Ks in 36 and 1/3 innings. He'll also cost under $400,000. Finally, Graveman is going to be scooped up by a team because of his 10-year track record, where he has saves in 5 of those 10 years and an ERA of 4, and he's 2 strikes away from 500 for his career. But again, he's cheap as well. And then, of course, you got Anthony DeSclafani, the guy who can be in long relief. I like him, kind of hope the Diamondbacks keep him, but I'm also open to them trading him. Did you know that the Diamondbacks have a guy who is tied for 6th in the National League in batting average with a .292 average? Well, we do. And his name is Josh Naylor. He also is 1 double shy of 20, and he has 11 home runs to boot. You also have Randall Gritchett, .267 against right-handed pitchers and .238 against lefties. Those, ladies and gentlemen, are a lot of assets. And I truly believe that if the Diamondbacks want to sell, they can do it and get some things back for that. All 9 players that we talked about here in this segment carry at least some value to other teams. That's a lot of players and potentially a lot of prospects. All right, so we need to do some things here with Monarch Money. That is correct. Ever wish managing your money just kind of felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or you're planning some big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over all of your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. And who doesn't like to build wealth? Now, the reason I like the Monarch Money app personally is that everything is in one place. I'm a big believer of let's just do one thing and let's do it right the first time. And Monarch Money allows us to do that. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com. And if you do that, you get 50% off your first year. That's right, 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com when you use the code LOCKEDONMLB. All right, guys. Putting this show right along. Let's make sure we take care of that. Okay. Get that off of there. Get back to that trade deadline decision that we were looking at there. Now, we've already made the case for selling. Now, we're going to make the case for keeping. All right. YouTube is a great tool for you to get everything you need about your Arizona Diamondbacks. But in order to do that, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so that you never miss a video and you're never not informed. I'm also very active on X. We'll do posts, we'll do reposts, we'll do poll questions, and so much more. And you can get me at X, just like it says right there at the bottom of the screen, at LO_Diamondbacks. And we're going to go to segment number 2. All right, guys, here's segment number 2. The Diamondbacks have the second most players on the IL in all of baseball. This is the case for keeping their current players and going for it at the trade deadline. So we lost our best starting pitcher. Our up-and-coming reliever we also lost, Mr. Martinez. Miller and Beeks should be back during the upcoming road trip. It looks like Pavin Smith and Gabriel Moreno should be back by probably around late August or so. And if they add a bona fide closer, all right, that's what they're going to have to do. So not only do they keep the people that they have, but they're actually going to have to add a bona fide closer, because we all know that this bullpen is in shambles right at the moment, to say the least. So if they add the bona fide closer and a couple of relief arms, they could get hot again and go on another magical run like they did a few years ago. The offense, ladies and gentlemen, is not the problem. Not even close. According to Fox Sports, the Diamondbacks actually have the 8th best batting average. But that doesn't actually tell the whole story, because the Blue Jays are number 1 in batting average, and their batting average is .260. And even though the Diamondbacks are 7 spots behind the Blue Jays at number 8, the Blue Jays once again are at .260, the Diamondback average is .253. They are 4th in runs scored, they're 5th in home runs, and they're 3rd in both on base and slugging percentage. So once again, it's not the offense's fault. The big takeaway here, they have half of it, guys. They can hit. If they can just get some pitching help, then they might be able to make a run. What do you guys think? We've made the case for yes. We've made the case for no. We've told you exactly what the GM Mike Hazen's thinking right now. Which one of these things do I do? It's a conundrum for him. I certainly, and I totally understand it. But at the same point, he's got to make a decision. We'll make a decision as well, and we'll do that here in just a moment. But first, we have to do open door. Excuse me, it's open phone. It's my mistake. Open phone. So if you're running a business, you know that every missed call is money that you just simply leave on the table. Think about the last time you had a service emergency. Just think about it for a second. Like maybe, I don't know, a busted pipe, let's say. If the first plumber didn't answer, do you wait on that plumber to call you back? No, absolutely not. You just simply look through and find another one and give that guy a call. And now the first plumber missed out. That's why having a reliable business line is so important. And that's why you need Open Phone. Open Phone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from one app on either your phone or your computer. And I'll tell you another great feature from Open Phone, and that is the simple fact that they have an AI agent who handles all after-hour calls. They answer all the common questions and captures leads, so you never miss a customer ever again. Open Phone is offering Locked On Diamondbacks listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone. No missed calls, no missed customers. All right, back here on the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast. Again, I am Mike Ballantyne. I am the new host of Locked On Diamondbacks. You can catch me on Twitter. It is at LO_Diamondbacks. Please look us up on YouTube. That is the best way to get a hold of us. And it's also the best way for you to participate. Just simply get on YouTube, put your comments up there, put your criticisms up there. Again, sure, I can take it. I have broad shoulders here, ladies and gentlemen. Not a problem whatsoever. Let me have it. Be interactive and be a part of the Diamondbacks family that we are going to make right here on Locked On Diamondbacks. So we've looked at the arguments to sell. We've looked at the arguments to buy. Now we're simply going to look at what should the Diamondbacks do, and we're going to do that right now. All right, so we talked about the assets that they have. We talked about the simple fact that they have half of it. And if today's podcast took place in a courtroom, you would have heard from both the prosecution and the defense. So now we've got to do a ruling, and we're going to do that ruling now. When we're done here, do you want a broader look at the game of baseball? If so, then you checked out Locked On MLB Game Night, a brand new channel here on the Locked On Podcast Network. They watch every game, so you don't have to. I don't know about you guys. I don't have time to watch every game. I try to focus on these Arizona Diamondbacks, my favorite team in MLB, but I also want to know some things about everything else that's going on. It's a nice, condensed, half-hour show, and you just don't have to watch us on YouTube. You can put us on in the car while you're grilling, while you're mowing the grass, with all of our different audio platforms as well. We offer things like Spotify, Apple, and my personal favorite, XM Satellite Radio. You can find Locked On, the entire podcast network, as well as Locked On Diamondbacks on all of those audio platforms. All right, let's look at segment number 3. It's coming at you right now. So, all right, Diamondback diehards, you have been given both sides. Buy, sell. What would you do, and why would you do it? Please leave your comments below. I'm actually very interested in them. But let me be the first one to officially make a decision. Mike Hazen, sell, 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 and then sell some more. That's right, guys. I want you to keep the core, Hazen. I really do. Marte, Perdomo, Moreno, McCarthy, Thomas, Carroll. We'll get Burns back at some point after his surgery's done. We'll get Martinez back. And then we've got Brandon Pfaadt as well from the mound. Let's see. Let's just see what Jordan Lawler, Tristan English, Tommy Troy, LeJames Groover, Yber Diaz, and Lu Min Lin. Whew. That one hurt me a little. Let's see what all of those players in our minor league system have to offer. And ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to know all these guys. That's my job. But you got to remember, this is only episode 1 for me, so we can't cover everything in this great episode. Give me some time. We'll get to all of those minor league players. We're going to do a lot of different things here on the Locked On Diamondbacks Network. I want you guys in your comments, hey, let me know what you guys want from this podcast. I'll listen, I'll take notes, and like I said, together, we're going to build a Diamondback diehard family right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. So, yes, after the trade deadline, we'll begin to do some different segments, and we will focus on the minor league systems before the end of the season. The big takeaway I've got right here, we have the core. And we have a decent AAA team. We have a great A and high A, if you look at some of those players that we've got down there in that farm system, you look at that and be like, yeah, those are some good players down there. Mike Hazen and company have done a fantastic job at drafting. They just drafted some other great players. I'm reaching out to some of them. Hopefully we'll have some of them on the show. That'll be a great thing to do after all this trade deadline stuff is done. I'm jumping into this right now. We can't ignore the trade deadline to do other stuff, but we'll get to other stuff as soon as this trade deadline is done. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to wrap up today's show. Thanks as always for making us your first listen every day. And you know what? Tell a friend. Even if the friend's imaginary. We don't care. I got a lot of imaginary friends. Those are the only people that'll talk to me. So tell them about this podcast. Like, comment, and give Locked On Diamondbacks a big thumbs up when you go to YouTube. Coming up on the next Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, now that we have decided, well, I guess I've decided, and I'll read your comments. Well, that's what I meant by we'll decide together. We'll look at that a little bit next episode here as we put everything together. So, now that I've decided to trade away some of our expiring contracts, we got a few more questions that we need to answer in the next show. What can we expect to get back from these players? Plus, what other teams are selling similar players as our Arizona Diamondbacks, and will that help or hurt their trade value on our assets from our end, from the Arizona Diamondbacks? They're getting ready to go on a long, long road trip. If you guys don't know, tomorrow's a day off. Thursday will be a day off. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be early times because they're in Pittsburgh. There'll be early start times, 3:40, I believe. And then on Sunday, it's like a little after 10. It's like 10:30, something like that. So a very early start time for that. And then we go right into Detroit for 3. And then we go to, we can't say Oakland. We can't say Las Vegas yet. It's parts unknown for the Athletics. So we go 3 in Pittsburgh, 3 in Detroit, 3 in parts unknown where the Athletics play. And then it'll be back home. Our longest road trip of the season is right now, right before the trade deadline. It's a very interesting time for your and my Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, for your next listen, check out Locked On MLB, as Sully gives you a daily look at the biggest stories in the league. And as we'll say at the end of each and every one of these podcasts, for each and every one of you, tune in so you can stay locked on.